What up? It's Wall Street, hit my line. And today, guys, I want to talk about clout. Because clout is destroying us. It truly is. And obviously, clout is a, term that's really become a lot more popular, and I'd say probably the last 10 years or so, right? And it's a problem. Obviously there's this rise of YouTube pranksters and, girls just, strip teasing and doing, stuff, just showing off everything on Instagram for likes. But it's just crazy. I mean, the reason that I wanted to bring this up was because I used to live in California, so I still get recommendations on my YouTube and stuff for KTLA and all these other SoCal news channels and stuff. And there was this story that came up that this 13-year-old boy passed away because he was doing a social media challenge. And I guess the social media challenge involved him, or I guess the trend in general involves people making themselves pass out. So I guess this kid did this and, he just went unconscious and that was it. He had 3 younger siblings, parents, I think one of the parents was in the military and stuff, super strict household, things like that. And it's awful, man. You hear the parents talk about, losing their son, and it's just terrible. And it's this was a very avoidable situation. But I do think a lot of it is, can be blamed on the culture that is plaguing people aged, let's say, late 20s down to kids in their teens, or maybe even, before being a teenager, 10 or 11 years old, right? If you have a phone, which most kids do nowadays, which is different than when I was a kid. Not that I'm not that old, okay? I'm in my 20s, but, when I was, younger, I'm right on the edge of millennial and Gen Z or Gen X or whatever it is. But it's crazy to me because, I didn't have Instagram, I think, until I was, in high school or maybe 8th grade, something I don't know. But we had Facebook when I was younger. Things like that, but people weren't doing stuff like this. I think the biggest thing when I was younger was the ALS ice bucket challenge, right? And that wasn't for clout. It was not for clout at all. But people just be doing crazy stuff nowadays, man. It's destroying the way that people live and think, and it's destroying empathy as well, just general empathy in people, because I think it's just making social media just paints a certain picture, and that's what a lot of us have exposure to on a daily basis more than anything else. We see more on social media than we do in our daily interactions with people. So I stress to people, always go outside, talk to new people, live life as if technology isn't really a thing, right? Obviously, yeah, get into a car, take the train, do things like that. But don't be sitting on your phone while you're out in public doing stuff like that. Enjoy the moment, take in the sights, the sounds, the people, all that stuff. But another instance that really, frightened me was this happened, I think, maybe at the end of last year, early this year, I can't remember. But there was a guy in Arizona who was going into supermarkets and Walmarts and stuff like that and was spraying rat poison and roach poison on produce and food that people would then go buy and take home, and you get really sick from that. You could die from that, it's crazy to me that people just are okay with this. And the guy even doubled down afterwards. I don't even know what his name is, but I'm not going to say his name even if I knew what it was, because I'm not trying to give this guy more clout. Full circle moment right there. Not giving him more clout. But he doubled down and was why would I go get a real job when I can just post these videos and make $10,000 a month, which frankly is crazy. But he's on some level he's not wrong, right? Like some people think like that, where it's like, oh well, I can just make so much more money doing this because people are going to watch it. Which I don't know what's more frightening, the people doing it or the people watching it, because people watching it, you're enabling this dude, right? So like if you are watching these guys doing YouTube pranks and all this stuff, if it's all in good fun and they're helping people out at the end, like, you know, and they're not harassing people, that's different. Okay, like Jadeon, when he was doing pranks and stuff, and he like got his hair cut at an NBA game, like I thought that was funny. Like he's not hurting anybody, you know, like the players aren't mad that he's getting a haircut at the game. Like it's really like that is a silly joke that I think is funny, and it's, you know, whether you want to say it's tasteful or not, it's not really harming people. Okay, the YouTube pranksters that go into stores and harass people and take stuff out of their carts and throw stuff at people, like, you know, like imagine being a guy that gets off like a 12-hour shift and he's just going to the store to get something to eat, and people start throwing stuff at you, harassing you, you know, asking if you want to fight, calling you names. Like it's just like, and you're all just doing it so you can record it and put it online. Like, dude, that's so corny. So, you know, I don't know, man. I think clout is really like, it's a disease on some level. And it's funny, it's like, you know, you guys probably know if you watch my other channel and stuff, I love rap music. I make beats, you know, but I love Drake. And I think, you know, Drake has a line where he says, like, a lot of y'all got more followers than dollars and I just can't relate. And it's so funny because I just like, I think about this question a lot, where it's like, I think if you asked people, would they rather have 1 million followers or $1 million? I think you would be genuinely surprised to see how many people would take the followers over the dollars, which, like, to me is a crazy thing to do. Do you know how much you can do with $1 million? You could start a business. You could buy a home. You could buy a really nice home at that. You know, you could buy cars. You could do so many things for you and your family and your loved ones with $1 million. And sure, you might be able to make a lot of money if you have 1 million followers. Okay. But most people that have 1 million followers, there's probably not a huge correlation to them also having $1 million. Okay. I know you can monetize on social media, YouTube, all that stuff, but man, I'm just like, people really would take clout over money. And to me, I'm like, you know, like obviously everyone likes having attention, right? But I would assume most people want good attention. Like a lot of people nowadays are so content with having, you know, any attention. So whether it's bad attention, you know, or like infamy, if you want to call it, or fame and good attention, right? Like it's, people just want people to be looking at them. And I don't know what it is. And I think people, you know, due to this, it's become such a competitive social arena, you know, on and off of social media. And I always think back, like, you know, like I went to high school, graduated high school, you know, went to undergrad, you know, for college, I did a master's program. I still think the most valuable thing that I ever learned, and the biggest thing that so many people always forget, the most valuable thing that I learned in school was in kindergarten. Or it might have been pre-K. I don't even know. I was like 4 or 5 years old. The most important thing that I learned was the quote unquote golden rule, which I'm sure a lot of y'all are probably like, oh, I know exactly what he's talking about. Because a lot of people get taught the golden rule, but it seems like it fades off in people's memories super quick. But the golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. And I don't know why, maybe it's just the kid I was, the type of person I am, the way I grew up, whatever. I like really rationalized and like took that rule very seriously. I was like, wow, that makes perfect sense. Like, if I don't want people to be mean to me, then, you know, I can't be mean to other people, right? Like, if I want people to be nice to me, I have to be nice to them. It's just, it's such a good way to teach empathy, but it seems like that rule gets told to you once, and then, you know, kids are kids, they're not going to listen. It's like that really should be taught every single year that you're in school. every month that you're in school, that should be taught. Because I think the world would be such a better place. And clout wouldn't be as big of a deal and causing so many issues for people if people just believed in that rule and really held it like to their chest and made it real, right? Because if you truly treat people the way you want to be treated, and everyone was doing that, we'd live in an amazing world, an almost perfect world, if you will, right? But obviously the world's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? And we all have bad days. So, sometimes you get stressed and you say something to somebody that you don't mean it that way and whatever. But like at the end of the day, you have to be accountable and you have to understand, like, if you want someone to treat you a certain way, you can't treat them totally opposite and expect to, get something different in return, right? Like what goes around comes around, and that's just how life is. But again, guys, like clout is dangerous, and I want to just stress the importance of, at the end of the day, does it really matter if you have 1 million people who you don't know paying attention to you, especially if it's bad attention? If you're that guy that goes into Walmarts and messes with people and screws up people's days and does stuff like that, is that really the attention you want? And again, that type of attention isn't sustainable. People are going to grow, like get over that type of stuff so quick, right? Like it's not sustainable. If you do something that brings joy to people and consistently is bringing joy to lots of people, you're not hurting anybody, you're doing the right thing, like that is sustainable. So I urge you guys, when trying to figure out how you can do what you want in life, right? Whether that's make a lot of money or run a business or make music or, make paintings, invent new technology, whatever it is that you're doing. Always think about how it's going to help people and how it's going to promote the greater good of society, right? Like, and that doesn't have to be an encapsulating thing. Like, I'll give you another example. Like, I make beats, I make music, okay? Like, I also make these YouTube videos. I make YouTube videos about the NBA, right? Like, I try to be positive in my videos. I try to be funny in my videos sometimes, and I just try to talk to people. I want to connect with people. I want to inspire people. I want to do things that make people happy. And, I always think about back to when I was a kid, being, like the only boy in my family. My dad was traveling a lot. I didn't see him a ton when I was a kid. I spent a lot of time alone, right? Playing video games, doing things like that. And I always thought, like it would be so nice to have someone that, will just talk to you, is there as your friend or whatever. And that's kind of what I try to do in these YouTube videos, right? It's like, I want you to be able to like put this YouTube video on and feel like I'm your friend talking to you, right? And I really do feel that way. Everyone that watches these videos, I want to be your friend in some way, right? I'm not doing it because I'm like, oh, this is going to be so entertaining because I'm doing some crazy stuff, right? Like that's not it. I want to connect with people. I want people to feel good. I want people to enjoy their lives, and just, keep pushing it forward, man. Like, do the right thing, and it's going to extend onto other people, and things are going to get better for you, for everyone else, what have you, right? I'm going on a tangent, but bottom line is, because I want to leave you guys with this. Bottom line is that clout is almost like a drug, okay? You can get addicted to it, and you're going to constantly want more. You're going to constantly do newer and wilder things to get that clout. And if you're solely doing things just to get clout, you're going to wind up crossing a lot of people, and you're going to wind up crossing yourself in some ways. And if you want to stay true to yourself, which you should, do what you think is right. And if you get attention for that, so be it. Okay. And do what you want to do. As long as you're not hurting other people, you're not ruining people's days, and you're doing what makes you happy, there's not a problem with it. But if you're doing something that's hurting other people and you're doing it intentionally, things like that, It's not right. And if you're doing stuff that you don't feel super comfortable with, but someone else is telling you, oh, do this because you'll get attention, like, listen to your gut, dude. Like, you'd be surprised how often your gut tells you the right decision. Like, you just gotta believe in yourself and believe in your decision-making skills. And just trust that you're doing the right thing, right? But think things through, act with confidence once you've thought about a decision, especially if it's one that you're a little unsure about. Just think about it, okay? And don't do things solely for the purpose of gaining clout. Do things for the purpose of fulfilling what you want to do in life, whether or not someone's going to pay attention to it or not. If you're really doing something great and spectacular and accomplishing all your goals, people will notice and people will pay attention. So you don't need to chase clout. Just chase what you want to do, chase your dreams, and that's it, man. Go after it. And remember the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Don't treat them like, some BS because you try to get clout. It's not cool. But I want to know what you guys think, man. What do you think about this social media era that we're living in and how clout has become this toxic trait? I want to know what you guys think, and I want to have a discussion. So please leave some comments, and let's connect, man. Let's link, let's build. You feel me? I'm all about that. I'm all about that action. So let me know what it is, guys. I'm going to catch you again soon. Love talking to you guys on here. So stay safe, stay humble, stay up. Peace.